Welcome. Thanks so much for joining me for Yin Yoga, a 30-minute practice you can use any time of the day to help you deeply release stress and tension from your body and your mind. If you'd like to join me right now in the seated position, we'll sit in easy pose. I do have a bit of support, a cushion underneath my seat. You may want to use one too, helping you come into your optimal alignment, sitting up nice and tall. Let's close the eyes and allow ourselves to become more present with each cycle of your breath. And gently deepen the inhale, sinking it further down into your body. And releasing more completely on your exhalation. And as we breathe in, we energize the body. And as we breathe out, we relax. So just a few more full cycles of breath. Staying aware of the sensation of breathing. And on your next breath in, you can, if you'd like, open your eyes again. We're going to slowly reach up through the arms. And on the exhalation, slowly release. On the breath coming in, lifting the right arm straight up. And on the breath coming out, coming over into a side stretch. Breathing in, back to center, and breathing out to release. And let's do the same thing on the other side, following your breath. On the inhale, lifting, and on the exhale, stretching. And on the inhale, come back to center. Exhale to release. Okay. We're going to bring our legs out of this position. And we're going to come into the butterfly pose. So bringing the soles of your feet together. I'm just going to scoot onto repositioning my cushion here. We are going to come into a forward bend with this pose. If you'd like to use some head support, that's always an option if you have something. I'm just going to place my bolster here. And just starting to get comfortable here, finding the position that works with your legs. I'm actually going to turn to the side. You don't need to move at all, but just to show you the forward bend with head support. All right, so take a moment to sit up nice and tall. Already perhaps feeling a bit of a stretch in your legs, in your hips. And just before we come forward, we're going to do a little bit of a roll with the torso. So circling slowly forward and rolling back. And then we'll move in the opposite direction a few times. Move with your breath as you inhale. Come back to center, roll up, exhale, roll forward. We'll come back to center here, preparing again to come into our forward bend version of butterfly. I will use head support for this one. You don't have to, but it feels really great. If you do have something you can use, we're going to find what works. Find the right positioning for your feet. And find the right amount of effort here, coming into a stretch that feels right for you. You get just enough sensation. You can go back to closing your eyes. And some of the main principles of yin are you find that right place. That's the trick. You find it because you're going to be here for typically a longer time than you normally would in other styles of yoga. You hold in yin, you hold the poses longer. And you find your edge, and that might change, and you might shift a little bit deeper when you notice that you've gotten more comfortable. For example, I've gotten more comfortable there, so I'm going to come a little bit further into it. Perhaps still using that head support, but find your place. But once you're there, resist the tendency to fidget. Allow your body to soften and yield to the pose. So it's not a yang stretch. There isn't a lot of muscular effort. We're not trying to kind of push ourselves into the pose. We're just instead softening, yielding, allowing gravity, especially in this position, to just gently pull us down further. And this way, when we are in the pose, yielding, softening, and holding for some length of time, we access deeper areas of the body, more around the joint, the tendons, the ligaments, the cartilage, the fascia, connective tissue is what we work on in yin. And it is very meditative as well to, of course, hold and relax the posture for a longer period of time. So let yourself go into that meditative space. Observe your body, be a witness to yourself physically, but also mentally and emotionally. Be present and notice what comes up for you. In about 3 breaths, we are going to begin to slowly come out. And I do advise, recommend for you to come out really slowly. For this position, you can use your hands your arms and start to support yourself slowly back up. So just walk your hands in towards your body and slowly transition up out of that pose. Okay. We're going to bring the legs out with the support of the hands here, bringing the legs together. And I'm going to do a bit of a counter release. So we're just going to rock the legs a bit from side to side here. Okay. All right. We are going to come right onto the side for now and transition here to all fours. Starting in tabletop and a little bit more loosening, warm up movements. Let's circle the hips. So move slowly and mindfully, feeling into your hips, your lower back, moving in the opposite direction. And keep breathing here. Make your circles a little bit bigger. Move into those areas as you stretch. Move your body back a little bit more towards one side. And then we'll come back to center. One more warm up. We're going to move into cat-cow. On the exhalation, arching your back, lifting your belly. On the inhale, slowly looking forward. And just continue flowing here for a few more breaths. Inhaling and chin lifts up. Exhaling and chin comes in towards your chest. One more breath. And then we'll come back to center. And where the hands were, we're going to bring ourselves down onto the elbows. We might even slide them. We are going to slide them forward a little bit more. Maybe we'll slide the knees back. We're starting to move into the next pose, Yin pose, which is going to be referred to as melting heart, or it's also called the puppy pose. So keeping your hips in line with your knees generally, and your head could come down, your elbows and forearms on your mat. And we'll hold this position, softening here, tuning into your breath. And again, at the beginning of your pose, you can do a little bit of wiggling around to find the place you want to be in. But once you find it, try to just stay there without any movement. You can focus on your breathing. Feeling those places that open on the inhale. Feeling those places that release on your exhale. And in about 3 or 4 breaths, we are going to start to transition out of this pose. And we're going to dig down a bit with the arms, the elbows. Start to lift your head slowly. And from this position, let's bring the head forward so that you're starting to lower your hips down and your legs down to the mat. And we'll bring the arms out a little bit more so that we're in the Sphinx. The elbows are just a little further out than the shoulders. Resting here on your belly. In the Sphinx. If you're keeping your eyes open, you can find a focal point. If you'd like to, close your eyes. Soften and release your jaw. And lift your chin a little bit to feel a nice gentle stretch in your throat, your neck. Again, feel into your body. Follow each breath. Not only does yin, of course, like every yoga practice, affect the physical body, but it also affects the energy body. It's helping to improve energy flow in targeted areas of the body. Yin is also rooted in the Chinese tradition, so they know which positions are great for opening up certain meridians or energy channels. Mapping back to certain organs, helping to improve the overall function in the inner landscape of your body as well. And in a few breaths, we will begin to come out of this posture. And if you'd like, you could just slide your arms straight out in front of you. Reach through your fingertips a little bit, really lengthening out. You can bring your feet up in the air, bending your knees, and just roll out through your ankles a few times. Circle your feet. And circle your lower legs and feet to loosen up your knees. You can swish your legs together from side to side, just rocking. Okay, then releasing the legs. We're going to bring the hands underneath the shoulders, preparing to come off the belly. Press down and come back to tabletop. And a little cat stretch, lifting your belly, arching your back, head down. The next pose will be child's pose. So if you want to sink down with your hips, if you want, you can use support again with for your head. I'm going to deepen this pose a little bit in the hips. I'm going to widen my knees apart. Bring the big toes together, but just widen the knees apart a little bit more. You can, again, support the head, or you could bring the head right down, of course. I'm just going to use just one block. And we're going to rest here for about a minute or two. This is a lovely opportunity to feel your breath a little bit more in the back of your body. In your inhale, feeling the ribs expand through your back. On the exhale, you can feel your ribs release, the muscles of your back release. We're going to be here for about 3 or 4 more breaths. And then slowly again, we're going to transition out of this pose. And slide your hands towards your body, come up onto your, and then try not to drag if your knees are quite wide apart, just lift them up and bring them back to center. All right. You might stay in the hero for just a moment or come out of this pose. And we are going to come onto the back. So if you want to come forward and slowly transition to coming right down onto your back. And we'll do one more pose before Shavasana. And we're going to do just a simple recline twist. So with the knees bent, legs together, we're going to drop them over to one side. With your arms, you can reach out to the sides and you can turn your head away from the legs in the other direction. Here, if you'd like, you can place something between the knees or underneath the bottom leg there. And just let your legs sink down, releasing the weight of them down towards the floor. Let the shoulders sink. The arms are comfortably heavy. The head is heavy. Jaw released. We'll stay here for about 3 or 4 more breaths. Before you come out, you could take a bigger breath in and a longer breath out, maybe even out through your mouth. And the next time you inhale, let's slowly come back to center with the legs and the head. And we're going to slowly lower to the other side. And find your place here where you can really let the legs settle. So there's no holding or tensing of your muscles. Softening your jaw. You can even just bring a hint of a smile to your lips. Stay for 3 to 4 more breaths. And before you come out of your pose, take one last bigger breath in and a long breath out with a sigh. And on your inhale, come back to center with the legs and the head. We'll do a counter pose. We're going to bring the knees in towards the chest for a moment. You can rock a bit from side to side on your back. And just let those legs sink in towards your chest. And then we'll come into our final pose. I'm maybe not going to guide you through it the whole time. I'm just going to let you be. And if you'd like to hold this position, be in this position longer, um, you could even just turn the video off for now so it doesn't interrupt you at the end when I come out, if you're watching the video. So just to start, if you'd like to place one hand on your belly, one hand on your heart. Just check in with yourself like this, inwardly. Just feeling those lovely effects of our practice here to get together today. Feel the vitality, maybe the relaxation, ease that this time practicing yoga has brought you. And then you can allow your arms to release, your hands to soften, and just rest here as long as you'd like. I'll be here with you for a minute or so. Again, if you'd like to do this longer, especially in the evening, just go into it on your own without the video, relaxing, moving through each part of your body with your focus. Allow for deep release and relaxation as you let go. And activating a tremendous amount of healing here. I'm going to begin to come out. Again, I encourage you to do what feels good. And if you have time, stay longer. Just stretch and open. And keep checking in with yourself. And whenever you're ready, just slowly transitioning back. I often meditate at the end of the practice. Once you come back to a seated position, you might decide to stay here a few minutes longer too. But I'll leave you here now. Hands together at the heart. Namaste. And thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful day and hope to see you again soon.